C is for creed. And for most people, the word creed denotes a long prayer which is used regularly in worship. And indeed, they think of two particular texts that are used regularly in worship. One is known as the Apostles' Creed, and the other is known as the Nicene Creed. Equally, we think of these statements as not just prayers, but summaries of belief. But a moment's thought reveals that as summaries of belief, Christians believe lots more things than are in these creeds. And indeed, some of the things in the creeds don't seem all that important in terms of the beliefs of Christians today. So it's worth thinking about the origins of creeds. Let's work backwards. Creeds only enter worship in the Western Church in the High Middle Ages, where they're incorporated into the Eucharistic liturgy and into the Liturgy of the Hours. And hence the familiarity of most people who have taken part in church ceremonies with the Nicene Creed and with the Apostles' Creed. But originally, both of these creeds functioned in a very different way. The Nicene Creed is actually the result of a council, and indeed two councils, so it's really the Niceno-Constantinopolitan Creed. The Nicene bit deals with the Father and the Son, and was an attempt to create a common text that all the bishops gathered at the Council of Nicaea could agree to in 325 to resolve certain disputes that were splitting the church apart. In 381, they added the third final part, dealing with the Holy Spirit, and so that was to resolve other crises. So it didn't start out as a summary or an ideal summary or indeed a useful aide-memoire. It started out as a text that would unite the bishops at a council. The Apostles' Creed, a Western creed, probably originating in Rome, given the title The Apostles, and there's a myth that it was put together, each apostle of the classic 12, putting in one sentence, was actually a baptismal creed which was then taken over and used as a liturgical creed. But let's go back to that idea of a creed as baptism. This creeds originated as questions to those who are being baptized. Do you believe? Do you believe? Do you believe? And they originated a question and answer format. That question and answer format then mutated to create the Apostles' Creed, where it moved from question and answer to being a declaration. It was then that question and answer format that was elaborated with technical language to create a consensus document in 325 and a further consensus document in 381. So when we think of creeds, we should not primarily think of some sort of ideal summary. They're not really ideal summaries, even though they've often been treated that way. Secondly, we shouldn't think of them as just long recitations. We should think of them as originating in the questions that were asked of candidates who were about to be baptized. As such, they were built around a three-question format, which was the person about to be baptized affirming that they accepted the Father, the Son, and the Spirit. And they remind us that the Trinitarian dynamic was to be a dynamic of relationship to the Trinity. Thought of in that way, their strange format becomes clear, and we realize that as summaries, they don't work, but as statements of baptismal commitment, they work very well.